I love this country, especially when it acts nuts, especially when it says things, and especially when it's individuals who are in the public eye, our stars and celebrities, when they say things that are absolutely incomprehensibly inane. A while back, I remember watching Dick Cavett. I remember thinking, well, how Dick Cavett was such a great show. How smart Dick Cavett was. What a con that is. He's always confused. Well, anyway, Dick Cavett, of course, convinced us he was a genius. And people said, well, okay. Just like when Oprah convinced you she was skinny. Remember that one? Oprah's skinny. She is? Yeah, she lost weight. When? 20 years ago. What about now? She's skinny. She is? Okay, whatever you say. We just believe these things. Okay. So, Dick Cavett years ago had on John Lennon. And I thought, John Lennon is the most overhyped, overrated, voice of a generation. What is he talking about? If Mike Douglas and Yoko John Lennon and Yoko on Mike Douglas. Did you ever see that? For a week? It was, what are they talking about? Stokely Carmichael, Jerry Rubin, Mike Douglas, and, Cheetah Rivera, or these. It was almost like the Ed Sullivan group of non-sequitur guests. But I remember thinking at the time that John Lennon was just, what is he talking about? John Lennon was, Schopenhauer compared to the list of luminaries today. Who are these people? Who are these people? Better yet, who said, go ahead, Sarah Silverman, have at it. Let's see what you have to say. Sarah Silverman, everybody, the brain trust of a generation. Sarah, talk about how you want, what do you want, armed militia? What is this you want? Huh? And Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie, explain the martial law thing again, would you? You're Rosie O'Donnell. I don't know why we're listening to you. We just are. Go ahead, Rosie. I know you hate Trump. We'll give you a pass on that one. Go ahead and explain that one. Though, to her defense, Rosie did make some good points about Building 7. The only one on TV, or anything that we call TV, who will at least address that. So, at least for that, Rosie, right arm. And then after Rosie's done, we'll go to people like, I don't know, such luminaries like Madonna. Madonna, who can talk about sucking your this and that, and wanting to blow up the White House, and Madonna, who can't sing, Madonna, who's my age, and which is fine, they're all my age. We're all that 1958 group. I think Madonna and I are near each other's age. Michael Jackson, Madonna, me, Alec Baldwin, Prince. So here comes Madonna, and she's talking about I don't know what, but they're clapping at the women's rally where women, many of them are dressed like engorged foam rubber pudenda. Not vaginas. Maybe the vaginal os, perhaps. But a vulva, vulvae, pudenda. Right. Then, who else we have? Oh, Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd, she was an actress, or is an actress. And she's going to talk about Cheeto dust and periods and tampons or something. I don't know. Then we're going to have one crazed award show after another where somebody that most people don't know will get up and hold that statue up and scream and yell, I'm going to beat you up, or whatever it was, I think I should have taken, the Emmy and one night said, and, make some reference to, I don't know what. Nobody, they would have said, what are you doing? Well, I'm making a political statement. Who are you? Oh, what do you mean who I am? I'm me. I won this thing. I don't care who you are. Sit down and shut up. What, you're an expert? Well, I think maybe I might have better jurisdictional grounds than Sarah Silverman, who, by the way, her anal and poop fixation, paging Dr. Freud. Wow. That's all I'll say. Wow. Okay? So this is what we've done. Joy Behar, another genius. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, it is. And Whoopi, somebody called her Whoopi Cushion Goldberg. Don't know what this is about. What happened to us? I mean, are these like this is like the minor league? There was a time when there were people who really spoke. Did you ever hear how eloquent Marlon Brando was about Native American rights? Did you ever hear what Charlton Heston had to say about civil rights? Harry Belafonte? I mean, these were important. What Audrey Hepburn had when she worked with, I don't know if it was UNICEF, but her UN, she was very eloquent and elegant in her statements. There's nothing wrong with people being in show business who know what they're talking about. But for some reason today, we get these dime store losers. Angelina Jolie, the CFR globalist shill, and Bono. Let me stop for a second. Just imagine this group. Just imagine this group of luminaries. Sarah Silverman, Madonna, Ashley Judd, Angelina Jolie, Whoopi Goldberg. It sounds like a bad Love Boat. You know, Joy Behar. Who? And then there's always these people on The View. If ever I see it, I have to ask my wife, who the hell is that? Who is that? Well, she was on whatever. This is sad. It's really sad because this is a part of the anti-intellectual movement today. Remember a while back when you thought that George Bush was the dumbest man who ever walked the face of the earth? That was and he might have been, but, and I know what you're going to say. Didn't he go to Harvard? Do I have to explain how that works to you? No, good. There was a time when people, especially of the left, they thought he was just so stupid because the left, the prototypical left, they believe, and this is important to note, that they're smarter, hipper, more sentient, more humanitarian, more feeling, more aware, smarter, more educated, hipper, more, than the right wing. Oh, the right wing. And they look at these Neanderthal, these racist right-wingers, and let me tell you something. I still know that there are a lot of folks who fancy themselves. They're not really right-wing as much as they are Republicans. And I would probably agree there are some of these folks, but the people that we're talking about today who are making all of these comments, they're out of their minds. And they're not very smart, and they don't know a lot. You see, that's the part that really gets me. When you talk to somebody and say, well, let me talk to you about a few things. Because if you don't like President Trump, you are certainly entitled to him. I didn't vote for him. I wrote my name in. I want you to remember that. I wrote my name in. I don't vote for these people. I don't believe in these parties. I thought for sure, you don't beat the Clintons. You don't. So I can understand how people can be very upset with the fact that their gal lost. But what they're saying is another story. And one of the things which I, as a lawyer and as a former prosecutor and somebody who always says, hey, we got to tone this thing down. I mean, we have this hyper-militarized sense of order and control where we're not only getting adults but kids in school, and my God, somebody belches or somebody farts in class and they arrest them and overcharging with a terrorist, making terrorist threats. That's check out those statutes. But when you have people talking about advocating basically a riotous, violent upheaval, when you have somebody the likes of Madonna who's asking in essence for blowing up, I mean, there's something to be made about threats that are made. Not necessarily realistic threats that can be helped, that can be carried out, but how is this happening? How are the people who were arrested, these many years ago, names you've never heard before, who maybe said something, who maybe got upset, who maybe whatever, who ended up in the pokey, in the hoosgow, in the Gray Bar Inn, how come Madonna gets away with murder and Sarah Silverman doesn't, and Rosie O'Donnell advocating martial law? Now, that would be tough, because I don't know, I guess you want maybe a Smedley Butler, kind of a Rothschild FDR kind of a coup. Is that what you're talking about? Do you remember this Medley Butler story and how they wanted to do that? I mean, is that what we're talking about? Is this where the left is today? Who speaks for you? And I'm speaking to you. Does anybody ever tell, hey, Sarah Silverman, shut up? You're making this awful. You're making this. See, I always think in a strange way, because I'm very Machiavellian. You may have noticed that. And I'm very conspiratorial. Remember a while back, as an example, whenever there would be some horrible, there would be, let's say, a feminist or SJW kind of a social justice warrior march or something. And there would always be somebody that some media would focus on. And it was always, I know somebody's going to get upset with this, but I'm telling you what I've seen. Somebody who is not the best example of anything. Somebody who is filled with, let's say, tattoos, who weighs 900 pounds, spiked, and who will yell something like, I want to have an abortion. And like today, did you hear a story about somebody stuck a bloody tampon in somebody's mouth? And anyway, oh yeah, it's horrible. So you get this one person, and they talk about, I hate men, and men are scum, and men are pigs, and I realize, no, this is not emblematic, representative of the entire group. This is just a person that they likes a lot of attention, and frankly, got the attention. But then I think, wait a minute. Maybe somebody went to Central Casting and said, listen, I want to hurt the cause. So could you show up and wear all of your piercings, your stuff in your nose and whatever, shave your head, paint your head green, whatever it is, and act like a lunatic and give people the impression that you represent, let's say, the feminist cause. So we can downgrade and destroy and derail the moment by deliberately putting you in as an agent provocateur, when in fact you're not really one of them. I always wonder if that's true. Because something tells me, wouldn't it be great if if Trump said, okay, listen, I'm very close with these people. I can't do a Trump invitation. I want you to get Rosie. I want you to get Whoopi Cushion, and I want you to get, Behar and Madonna. And ladies, if you could you come out against me and say something really stupid, because actually this bolsters me, this elevates me in the public eye. Could you do this? See, that's because I think everything's a work. Because somebody somewhere has to say, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't somebody ever say to Sarah Silverman, Sarah, that's her name, you sound like an idiot. This is not your league. I told you years ago, I thought that John Lennon was an idiot. I thought John Lennon said the most ridiculous tripe and stuff, and yet he sounds like a genius. And I thought these people were insane. And every day I'm seeing another person who I think basically said something even more ill-conceived than the other one. And what's also sad today is I think there are younger people today who don't understand that it's not just the attitude, it's not just your anger that motivates you, it's your message. If I repeat myself, forgive me, I do a lot of interviews all over the place and around the world. And sometimes I'll say not the same things, but I'll have a particular theme. So I don't know if I've told you this. I'm sorry. It's the business. But there was Jane Fonda. What was a show of Jane Fonda with Lily Tomlin? Frankie and Grace and Frankie and Grace on Showtime or HBO, whatever it is. Great show. And Jane Fonda is always known as Hanoi. Netflix. And I get them confused. And Jane Fonda has always been known, and she will always be known for Hanoi Jane. And in retrospect, she realizes that was stupid. But she made a point. She was cogent. People made sense in those days. People made sense. Charlton Heston made sense. Others made sense. And when I sit down with these people, I would love to sit down with these women in particular. These happen to be women, but it's others too. It's, we can go through, turn this damn thing off here. There are others who are male and who also have this kind of a vague, the Alec Baldwin group. And I'm going to sit down and say, listen, I got an idea for you. Are you really serious about going after Trump? Good. Let's find some issues that we can work with. Let's find something in particular. All right? Let's forget about Obama, forget about it. Let's talk about this right now. How about, why are we supporting Saudi Arabia as they blast Yemenis? Why are we worried about that? Why are you bringing up Russia and Ukraine when you ignore Saudi Arabia? Why? I can explain Russia and Ukraine. I mean, there's a reason. There's a territorial, there's a border, there's a problem with NATO, obviously. There's a kind of a post-Cold War provocation. There's a whole Newland thing. But how is it that you, being of the left, and I thought anti-war historically was a part of your thing, how can you not even bring that up? How come under Trump's ban of 7 countries, and it wasn't a Muslim ban, it was just 7 countries, that had Muslim population for sure, but the other 43 or so didn't, how can he exclude Saudi Arabia? Would you like to talk about that? I'll join you. But Sarah, that means you can't talk about whatever the hell it is you're talking about, armed conflict, and Rosie, you can't talk about martial law. And Ashley Judd, the Cheeto dust thing, I'm still trying to figure that one. And Madonna, well, there's no hope for you. I have no idea. There's Madge is gone. You want to talk about that? Let's talk about also why they're not auditing the Fed. The most important issue there is, why don't we nationalize our treasury, the Fed? You want to talk about that? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about telling the president you're not going to back down on holding the CDC accountable for investigation and research into seeing if there's a link between vaccines and autism. You're not going to back down on that one. You got that? And also, we're going to hold you to infrastructure. Infra or infa, as people say, infrastructure. I heard a woman, I think I told you this, was on a talk show, and she's a kind of a loudmouth, big mouth, local, commentator. She's probably writing for free anyway in one of the local rags. And she kept referring to Ron Emanuel. I'm thinking, oh my God, Ron Emanuel. Ron Emanuel, Ron, not Ram, Ron. And so there are words that people say that just drive me absolutely nuts. Could you grab that for me? I should have turned this off. I should have done it, and it drives me nuts, and it's so rude. Thank you. Give me that. Thank you. This is so rude of me to do that. Don't you hate that? This changed the world, by the way. Not the cell phone, my phone. But if you'd like to talk about some other things too, which are important, we can do that. And we have a lot to discuss and a lot to go over. That's really, really important. Infrastructure, as I was saying, is not just some theoretical thing. Let's talk about jobs. What Trump did with TPP is just brilliant. Brilliant. Do you understand, and I'm speaking to this hypothetical group as though they're here, do you understand, Sarah and Whoopi and Joy and Madonna, oh, forget Madonna, but anyway, all of the rest of you, you do understand that there are people who are far more left than you, Marxists, communists, serious, prototypical, actual textbook lefties who applaud the attention that's being paid and given to the worker. Are you aware of that? Did you know that? Obama never did anything for TPP. He said it was gold standard. Who was it? Hillary? Somebody said gold standard. It's hard. It's a job. Do you understand that? Do you get that? There are people around the world, and I want you to understand this. I'm trying to help you, around the country, who are actually crying over the fact that for the first time anybody's even mentioned shuttered factories, communities that are dead, that are just rotten, dust or rust belt, whatever. Do you want to talk about that? Let's talk about education. The DeVos thing was an embarrassment. I'm with you on that one. That kind of sent a message like, I don't care about education. I'll give my billionaire friend here, honey. Just go and knock yourself out. It doesn't really matter. I don't care about education. I'll just send old Betsy in there and see what she can do. I agree with that. There's a lot we can agree on. Torture, thank God, Mad Dog Mattis came to the rescue and he backed off of that because he was for torture. He says some things sometimes that are just ridiculous. So what I'm saying is, if we're going to do this, why is it that we don't try attempt that? Well, here's the answer. Number one, there is no structured organization as to who speaks for whom. There is no left. There is no progressive left. There is no nothing. So if Sarah Silverman wants to go online, or Bill Maher, or whoever the hell it is, nobody will stop them, or should they. But there is no organized group. Number two, there is no mass traction plan. There is no platform. And the reason for that is this. If it doesn't equate to 140 characters, if it is not reduced to a simple, base, dare I say, childish message that deals with and involves something you can put on a bumper sticker or something really easy that any fool, any idiot, even Madonna can understand, then nobody wants to hear it. What I just said to you involves reading and maps. Nobody wants to hear about Saudi Arabia and Yemen and Houthis. And what are you talking about? What? No. Let me, if I could, just take this thing called women's right, and let me just yell man-hating, not androphobic, but this crazed kind of a militant. You remember the old Andrea Dworkin and McKinnon against pornography and that God. That's what gets attention. Foam rubber vaginas, as you would call them. Funny hats. Vague Black Lives Matter. I can't breathe, even though that never happened. Writing on your palm. Remember how people wrote on their palms because that was it? That was the thing that lasted, about 5 minutes? Because of this. Because it's all Instagram. It's all social media. That's it. That's where we are today. Instagram changed everything. Instagram absolutely changed, degraded the message. It destroyed everything. Because what happened was, it kicked in the narcissistic gene. It kicked in. It picked up on. It connected to. So what these people are most, and I can't say that others in the past didn't do this also, but I guarantee you what Sarah Silverman and Joy Behar and others are trying to do is to kickstart, ramp up, supplement, boost, provide elevation to their careers. That's it. And they know exactly, if somebody came out and said anything approximating what I said, specific plans as to specific issues in certain areas, the audience will look at them like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? What? No, we just want this little snippet. Give us a hashtag. Give us something. Let us rail against Milo or Gavin McInnes or something. Let us just enjoy this confused moment of undifferentiated rage. And whether it's left or right, we don't really care. But let us do it, and also let us capture it for our, YouTube accounts and all that stuff. And let's just bathe ourselves in the warmth of this collective, undifferentiated, unspecified, unarticulated rage, hatred, this frothing, frenetic, this frisson, this wild hatred. And let's just work each other into a frenzy and a froth and a lather. Let's just work each other into this, because this is fun. Trump gives us a reason. And by the way, Hillary Clinton is making it. She's back. She's now hanging out with Bill. All of a sudden, they're hanging out together. Now, for years, they had nothing to do with each other. He lived in maybe Chappaqua, with a lot of time in Arkansas, at the top level, the top floor of his library, where he would, his love shack. She was in Washington with the Huma, and they had nothing to do with each other. Absolutely nothing. Now, all of a sudden, they're all over New York. We never saw them before. Is she planning a run for mayor? Is that what she's doing? Oh, wait. You might say, no, not mayor. Mayor of New York is a different story. This isn't like any other mayoralty. Look at what Rahm Emanuel wanted to do. He left Rahm. You hear that? Linda Stacy? Rahm. But when Rahm left the White House, what he did, which was important, he went specifically and wanted to be the mayor of Chicago, not New York. But that carried cachet. So could Hillary run for mayor of New York? You betcha. That might explain why everybody's seeing her all over the place. And she's signing with all kinds. Who was the agency she signed with? Carrie Walker? Oh, Harry Walker. Harry Walker, she's doing speeches everywhere. And her PR machine is out. When she goes to Broadway, they stop. Let me tell you something. Let me say this before I depart. You know how you say Hollywood, and you got that kind of lefty group? And then you have maybe, I don't know, the print or the fake news media. Broadway, the world of Broadway, not musical Broadway, but all Broadway. It's a very small group of people. It really is. I mean, it's just, you see the same people. They're great. Some of the best actors. God love them. But they are, let me see if I can explain this. Not on a different planet, not in a different universe, but a different dimension, a different, I don't even know where they are. It's this collective, buck this system, go against that trend, go against this, we love Hillary. Broadway bent over for Hillary. I mean bent over. Not bent over backwards, bent over. And they threw everything at her. And they feel, first of all, stupid because she didn't win. And they hate Trump with, it's hard to say, more than anything you could imagine. These people who bring happiness and joy, these people, artists, who work with, let's face it, emotions and the heart and your dreams, these talented musicians and singers and dancers and actors of the stage actors are just, and Broadway singers are another breed. Let me tell you something. And these are the most demented. I mean, like you cannot believe, okay? So, nobody's ever seen anything like this. Even during the Vietnam War. Yeah, we had a right wing, we had the Archie Bunker type, we had the hard hats, and we had, but there were people, though, of the left who had a very simple message. End the war. Now, there were side groups, but end the war. And now we have fractionalized subgroups, thank you, George Soros, of the inarticulate, undefined, and sometimes incoherent. Occupy Wall Street, I don't know what they were saying. I don't still understand what that message was. I think I do. And people say, well, it's not an organized thing. You know, there are different people. Why would you expect a cogent, continuous, organized, easy to understand idea or platform or thought? Why would I think that? Oh, I don't know, to affect change. If you're scratching your head, I say this again, and you say, huh? Not good. So, my friends, I will leave you with this. I will say, just enjoy this time. And every time somebody, a Sarah Silverman, a Joy Behar, whoever it is, says something, I laugh, and can't wait to get to the camera. Can't wait to get to the mic. Can't wait to talk to you, to share with you kind of a, can you believe what's going on? Sentiment. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Lionel Nation. And now you may comment as you see fit.